Hi, everyone. Welcome to the ESYPD. Our agenda for today, we will start by discussing the goals of ESY. We will review ESY handbook and staff policies, including expectations around payroll, the sign-in procedure, PD payment, and other pay issues. Then we will shift to talking about safety for students. This will include reminding you about your obligations to read the superintendent's circulars on restraint, harassment, and others. We will cover bus loading and unloading and other safety protocols known as the Go Sheets. We will discuss day-to-day operations of ESY, including enrollment and classroom assignments, daily attendance for students, and other daily operation issues. Finally, we will cover curriculum resources that we shared, some of which have already been shared on Saturday if you attended the prior PD. We will also tell you how to access IEPs and how you will be reporting back to us via the progress reports on students. At the end, we will discuss Friday open house expectations, the hours that you'll work and any lunch break, health forms for families that you'll distribute, parent communication, classroom setup, and again, more you can do with curriculum and resources on Friday. So an overview of ESY again. Our goals in ESY are to prevent substantial regression of skills and to improve the recoupment of skills through high-quality instruction. Our goal is for students to come back in September with less regression than they would have had as reported on their IEP goals. We also emphasize operational coherence and student safety through planning and protocols. This year, we're emphasizing that we would like to see the same curriculum and instructional methods used in all classrooms based on strand. This was covered in the PD on Saturday, and more information is available in the Google Drive. On the topic of instruction, what we are looking for is small group, station-based learning and individualized instruction, grade level standards to be available for students where they can access them, progress monitoring on IEP goals, proactive planning to allow students to access the material and to be engaged, and finally, consistency, as I mentioned, across the classrooms. Staff policies and safety. We have shared the ESY handbook with all ESY staff. Everyone should receive the link to this online digital handbook. We expect that all staff have read the handbook and are familiar with all the contents. We also require that staff fill out the ESY staff information form. This form is where you give us your emergency information, and it is also where you acknowledge that you've read the handbook. Both reading the handbook and completing the staff information form are conditions of getting paid in ESY. Until you have done both of these things, your name may not show up on the sign-in sheets for ESY, and you will not be eligible to get the first paycheck. One of the elements discussed in the handbook is that you're a mandated reporter. We ask that you focus on this section in the handbook and know that it is your obligation to file a report if you see anything that makes you feel that a child has been abused. Again, please refer to the handbook policy on this. The ESY handbook and student safety refers to various protocols that should be covered in your building for situations that compromise student safety. Among these are head counts, missing students, fire drills, containment, and physical restraint protocols. Please refer to these policies in the handbook because you will be accountable for them on the first day of ESY. In any case of an incident, we expect that the site will be filing an incident report. This needs to be done in a case of severe aggression, tantrums, elopement, property destruction, physical restraint, as you see. If you are in doubt of whether to fill out a incident report, please check with your site coordinator, ABA program director, or assistant director. Some other highlights from the staff policy. We will cover sign-in, sign-out procedures, and we expect that staff will be physically signing in the main office with their initial or signature at the point of entering the building and starting work, and that they will sign out every day at the point of ending work. We need to have the signature at the start and end of every day for audit purposes and in order to authorize pay. There are no exceptions to this. You may not sign the sign-in sheet the day after or a few hours after you arrive. You must sign in the moment you arrive. Otherwise, at the point of sign-in is when we will assume you have started work. There are guidelines in the handbook around professionalism, including dress code. So I'll mention those here and expect that you've read them. We also have mentions of what we will be seeing in an optimal classroom. This includes physical layout as well as any other visuals that might be hanging on the board and what you would be doing in terms of curriculum and communication with students. There are expectations on CPI training for ESY staff. This was in the job descriptions that you applied for. All staff are expected to have taken a CPI training before the first day of ESY. If for any reason you have not taken the CPI training, you must inform your site coordinator before the start of ESY. Please refer to the staff policy book and the ESY handbook for other references around the behavior support plans and the superintendent's circular on physical restraint. No ESY staff member could restrain or touch a student for any reason if they have not been CPI trained. We will cover the supervising of arrival and dismissal of students in the upcoming sections. I would stress that there is a payroll schedule, and it is the same BPS payroll schedule that continues through the summer. The first ESY paycheck will hit on July 27th, the second on August 10th, the third on August 24th, and if you have not received your PD payment prior to this, it will come in the third paycheck. Finally, the last possible paycheck for pay corrections will be on September 7th. If there is any error in pay, it has to be communicated to us before the last possible paycheck, well before the last possible paycheck, and we will communicate the deadline for you to review your pay and notify us of any required corrections. We'll move to attendance for students. There is an expectation that teachers in ESY take very accurate attendance for students. This is considered an extension of the regular school year, and the attendance is equally important. You'll notice on this document that the attendance starts with Wednesday. This is intentional and correlates with when we go through bus changes. On the attendance sheet, you can just mark a student present, P for present, or A for absent. Let's go to the bus protocol.
So many of you who've worked ESY before are aware that there's a very strict bus protocol for the loading and unloading of students. It's critical that we follow this procedure with every student, every day, every time. This ensures that students don't become lost or end up in the wrong classrooms or not accounted for across the school day. These protocols are also referred to often as the go sheets, and that'll be explained shortly why. As you know, bus loading and unloading is a very busy time at every site. We are moving a large volume of students in a short period of time, especially during the beginning of ESY when we don't know the students as well. It is critical that staff follow this procedure and are aware. You will be practicing this procedure with your site coordinator prior to the start of ESY and the actual loading and unloading of students. All staff must be down at buses on time every day to support students getting off of buses. Staff should be outside and ready to receive students 15 minutes before the school day starts or at the beginning of their shift. If you arrive to school 15 minutes before the students start and that is the beginning of your shift, that does not mean that you're setting your bags down and getting collected. That means that you are outside and